last couple. Most important news, we didn't have this category until like October.
Yeah,
and
a lot of stuff came out.
A bunch of stuff happened one after the other that is there. We only have 3 items, so they're all there. It's really just which one I think is the most important.
Yeah.
The 3 items we have are the loot box fiasco.
Yeah, you could put brackets Star Wars Battlefront 2 beside that, but
the shuttering of Visceral Studios and Fortnite Battle Royale.
Yep.
I couldn't find anything else that was relevant.
Those are the 3 that I think that.
So, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
So the loot box thing was the Battlefront.
We can't keep making this mistake now. So so Battlefront 2 came out with loot boxes, or had loot boxes in its beta.
Yeah.
Then it came out. Oh god, I'm trying to think of the timeline now.
But the loot boxes were in the beta.
Yeah.
And then people were like, "This doesn't seem smart or fair."
Well, I say they discovered that to get the people that people care about in Star Wars, like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, it would take like 2,000 hours.
So no, this was later.
Oh, it's later.
Okay. The kind of period of time was like the beta came out with loot boxes. People said this doesn't look right, and also it's like hardcore tied to progression. And they said, "Cool, we'll
fix that. Star cards. Betas. Yeah.
Thanks for your feedback." Full game came out. They were basically unchanged. I think the
No.
Oh, really?
Because the Luke Skywalker stuff was still in beta. This was all stuff that came out before it came out.
Oh, really? Sorry. Yes.
Remember, it got changed the day of it.
So it came out for EA Insiders. Access or whatever it was. Like EA Insiders got it a week before everyone else.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was basically unchanged from the beta.
Yeah.
People went, "The fuck is this?"
Yeah.
So there was initial kind of backlash there where people were just talking about it.
Star cards were changed.
I wish I could remember the dude's name. The dude on Reddit who did the math and built that spreadsheet was like, and the headline of that whole spreadsheet was like, if you want Darth Vader, it will take about 40 hours of play.
Yeah.
So that was the point.
They came out, which was different from, there was a preview event that people went to.
Yes.
Where Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader were like 4 times less expensive. And then the access things I found, and then the guy did the math, and it was something like 40 hours.
Yeah. Which is like, and the math of that is debatable, and there were some assumptions made and all this kind of stuff. But like, it was a long
time, longer than you'd expect to get Darth Vader in a Star Wars game.
Yeah, exactly. So there was that.
Yeah.
They then cut the cost of.
They cut the cost by 75%.
But also cut
your gain by 75%.
Yeah.
So it didn't really change anything.
Yeah.
It just made the numbers look better.
And then the day before release, they switched off real money transactions completely.
It was either the day before or the day of. I can't remember what it was. Day before they said, okay, we'll stop doing microtransactions. So the boxes.
They disabled the ability for you to buy gems.
Yeah, crystals.
Crystals. And as of now, I don't know if they're back.
No.
But they're not?
Don't think so.
Okay. So.
Which led to everybody having a very big discussion about loot boxes, about like the usual argument of like, is it okay to just have cosmetic stuff, which came up in the Star Wars thing as well, because they were like, we couldn't make it cosmetic because Disney got angry.
I don't know if that was an official statement, but that was definitely the inclination.
That was the inclination that it was like they weren't happy with the lore or whatever. And there was a statement from a Disney person that said we don't like it from a lore perspective.
I mean, no, they don't, but also like somebody hacked out a cosmetics menu from Battlefront.
So they had that usual discussion, and then there was a bigger discussion about whether loot boxes count as gambling, which led to governmental,
and everyone's like, a lot of other companies started very quickly doing 2 things: either running hard from loot boxes or very quickly like placating people. So like a lot of other EA properties actually, like
Need for Speed and stuff,
Need for Speed started messing with their stuff. There's been a bunch of games that are in the not even out yet, which is like, we don't have loot box. Like
it's now a PR statement to say no loot boxes. It'll all be progression based. Yeah,
people are now looking at things like Destiny, which do have cosmetics, kind of, but also
there are some stuff you can get out of the pay. Yeah,
like this was a conversation that permeated out so quickly.
Yeah, it was a discussion that had for a while now been kind of bubbling under the surface that people have been having for a while, and this just spiked it over
because it seemed like there were a couple of games very quick succession that screwed it.
Yeah,
which was like there was Battlefront.
Yep.
There was Shadow of War.
Yep.
Which a lot of people said, like, in order to finish the end game,
to get through the end game stuff, you
basically needed to start doing it or just grind for a while.
Yeah.
There was Need for Speed had it.
Yep.
And I think there's something else.
There was the I can't remember. It was the thing that changed their VIP system. There was the racing game that I can't remember.
Crew? No.
No. There was a thing.
Forza.
That's the one.
Forza was the other one.
Forza Horizon thing that changed their VIP system. Basically, just used to be an XP doubler.
Yeah.
That they then changed to be like, no, you could get.
And it was a slot machine for cars.
You could give in packs of cards that were slot machines that people weren't happy with.
And I think one of the big things about that is that there's nothing inherently wrong with that construction of like random loot boxes.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, because Dota's had it for years.
Yeah.
And and again, like a lot of that, the things that work in its favor for that is like that game's free.
Yep.
All the items are cosmetic.
Yep.
A lot of the items that are cosmetic are actually made by members of the community that are selling for money.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things in there that make you feel okay about
Whereas
that stuff.
the Battlefront 2 thing was a $60 game that had tangible gameplay benefits that
you could pay to
and ultimately led to government intervention that has led to like a lot of governmental talks about like, does this count as gambling and not selling it to minors, and that statement from the guy in Hawaii that was like, we're going to make sure that this doesn't get sold to people under 18.
They burned they salted the earth kind of for this stuff.
Yeah, kind of fucked it for everybody.
Yeah, which is and
it was all anyone was talking about for weeks. Totally. Like that was the talk.
It made it into the mainstream in a way that you don't really see. This is super inside baseball stuff.
Yeah. Like, the stuff that gets out into the mainstream is, like, when people win big Dota tournaments and stuff like that. Like big, happy story. But this is just, like, no...
This was probably the biggest news story that hit the mainstream since the Xbox One DRM stuff.
Quite possibly,
that was the last one I remember that made it out into everyone else.
Yeah.
And it was just... And so now everyone's starting to look at stuff like Overwatch had been kind of generally accepted for a while.
Yeah.
Then
people are turning on it.
And also, like, there's a bad side... I mean, there's a bad side to all of this. But there's a bad side from a consumerist point of view where...
you've played Sega slots. You know the power of a video game gambling.
Totally.
Like,
exactly. Like, you make that animation good enough, and I'll fucking hit a pinata for days.
Yeah. You'll hold that spin button and watch Sonic do the thing.
Like, stuff like Overwatch as well, which has gotten away with it for a long time. Again, because a lot of that stuff's primarily cosmetic. But also, they do things like... One, it's a $60 game.
Yeah.
Two, a lot of their stuff is time limited.
Yeah. The seasonal
season stuff. So, like, hey, I really want this skin. The only way I can do it is just pump money into this thing. If there's ever a moment where, like, people can start putting their skins up for trade, that's the point where I think Overwatch breaks.
Yeah.
And there are also, like, if it is a normal way for how you... There are ways of making it work. And I think... Battlefront went so far in the wrong direction that nobody's going to try it for a while. Yeah, at least
it's kind of pulled it back and pulled the reins.
And also, sorry, Call of Duty World War II was the other one.
Yes,
which was like,
let's open loot boxes in front of people. Yeah.
Like, that's such a bold-faced, like...
It was the most obvious people have ever going, fuck off, like, we know what you're doing with that. That's...
Yep. It did, however, produce that amazing gif of the people in the lobby and the guy opens the crate. And after he says open the crate, guy runs in front of him, the crate lands on top of him, and the crate, like, just consumes him completely, which I thought was really good.
So there was that. There was the shouting and visceral.
This is
fuck yeah.
But this was on the list because this went real bad and then kind of sorted itself a little bit. Where like, EA shut down Visceral, who were making that
Amy Hennig single Star Wars game. I don't give a fucking single player Star Wars game.
Yeah. So EA shut this down with a statement that said like, the market, like, I can't remember the exact words.
We're
pivoting away from
the great sword
single player, and we're moving instead to like their statement basically translates
games
like,
as service.
We want to make a Destiny style thing, or stuff like, look, this is before Battlefront, but like, we want to do stuff where we can substitute it with loot boxes. We want to be able to have like a cosmetics market. Yeah. We want to do Destiny stuff and like support games
constant support for their
To which the instinctive reaction was, fuck you, I want my single player Star Wars
game.
Yeah.
Especially from me.
Then there was the Jason Schreier report from Kotaku, where they got a lot of sources saying like, actually that game is in super trouble. Yeah. Like, not necessarily because of them. Like, part of it was like bad planning, but also like every other game in the EA ecosystem kind of fucked them. Yeah. Where like something, I can't remember what it was, but like Battlefront actually was behind, so they needed to move a bunch of Visceral people over to do some of that. Yeah. And with the promise that once they get that, they'll get more staff for their game. Yeah. And they bailed on that. Like, a lot of things brought that game down. Yeah. but if nothing else, it showed the power of PR statements. For like, that was a badly worded PR statement.
Oh yeah.
It overshared as opposed to most PR statements, which are
very reserved. Yeah.
Like, we told you exactly why, and it's pure business.
Yeah.
Like, there's no placating of users there at all. So it was that, and then
Fortnite Battle Royale was when PUBG took over the world.
Did I talk about that? I played that game.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. I played more of that game. It is so blatant.
Yeah.
That it went from being like,
is it so blatant that you can understand why they're maybe suing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to take that mode and then go like, oh, we want to do it in our world.
Yeah.
Or like do our own, like, that world looks the same.
Yeah.
The fucking the map looks the same.
Yeah.
The entry method looks the same.
So we should explain. This is the PUBG took over the world, and then Fortnite very quickly, quite quickly after it got popular, put out their Battle Royale mode, and because it was running on the same engine as PUBG or something like that.
Yeah. So one of the original complaints was the fact that there's a couple of things, right? Like, Fortnite was a game that is still in early access and is already weird because it's being sold. There are boxes in stores.
Yeah.
Which do not say early access.
Yeah.
But once you boot the game up, it says this game's in early access, and it's $50.
Yep.
£40 or whatever. That game is not finished. That game is still being worked on.
Yes.
And instead, rather than finishing their game, they took a concept which was very much in vogue at the time.
Yeah.
Made a free version of that game, which hit console.
It's going to be in vogue for a while. It's still in vogue.
This was like Flashpoint.
Right at the peak. Yeah.
They made used their assets from the current game, made a free version of the game which hit consoles before Battlegrounds did. Yeah. And basically took everything.
Undercut them.
Not just the core concept, but everything.
Yeah. Map design and all that stuff.
In a game that feels worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then said, but we're doing the building thing, which does produce interesting videos every now and then, but doesn't really do a lot. And then there was the
PlayerUnknown himself got very mad.
I mean, understandably, because this isn't much bigger than him. Like, the PUBG Corporation, which is actually the name of the company that built that thing, which spun off from Bluehole. There's a lot of people involved in that company now, and
livelihood.
They now have a corporation built under this name.
Yeah.
So they very quickly were and the reason why this is different from. We talked about this podcast, but the core of it is the main reason why this is different from hey, you stole our shit.
Yeah.
Was that one? It's a game mode, which is very difficult to be no, we own this.
No,
you don't.
No, you don't. It's a mode. Yeah.
Two, that game mode is an evolution of another game, all
that mod and stuff.
But the core concept of the reason why they were pissed was that both games run on UE4, Unreal Engine 4.
Yeah.
And Epic make Fortnite.
Yep.
They also make Unreal Engine.
Yep.
And the Battlefront team had been what the hell's that game? Battlegrounds. The Battlegrounds team had been talking to EA to get changes in their engine specifically to support this type of game.
Yeah.
Which Epic then theoretically used for free
to make their game. Yeah.
That's which is an argument I can understand.
Yep.
But in terms of impact, the loot box thing is just
the loot box. This was basically a thing to talk about big news points, but it was always going to be loot boxes.
Totally.
It was huge. That was.
I also kind of wanted to say fuck Fortnite because I think the original.
Yeah.
When I talked about it in the podcast, I said I've played a couple of rounds. I was this seems not great. I actually put more time into it. It's even more egregious the more I play it. So that was it. So
the most important news was the loot box fiasco.
The loot box fiasco. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was such a shit show.
It was bad. Yeah.
So next we have best in-game play, which is another one that you just kind of decided to throw on randomly.
Again, it was one of those ones that I threw it on as a joke and then actually thought of a couple more examples during the year.
So we have Wolfenstein 2.
We should probably explain what the category is.
Yes, sorry, because I was confused by this. Because I read it initially very cursely and thought you meant best gameplay.
Yeah.
But I was that's very weird. But no, you mean best in-game stage performance of a play.
Best in-game theatre performance.
Yes.
I'm going to change the title.
In-game theatre performance is what you're saying.
In-game theatre.
So the competitors for this, the players, shall we say, this, are Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, Life is Strange Before the Storm, Night in the Woods, and Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein: The New Colossus we talked about already is the Hitler.
It's the audition scene, right?
Yeah. It's not really a play. There's people acting, but it's not a play.
Okay, maybe we have to change the name of the category again.
Best in-game acting.
Best performance of fiction.
What?
I mean, that covers.
I mean, we've got 4 and we only need 3. We can just say Wolfenstein isn't a theatre performance and leave. Well, but theatre performances, they're acting. That's a theatre performance.
Okay, yeah, sure, okay.
Life is Strange Before the Storm. What happens?
It's a core part of one of the episodes.
Oh God, okay.
So episode 2, when you're starting, like, when you and Rachel are starting to kind of find each other, you say that she's a member of the theatre club. Rachel's a member of the theatre club, and they're doing a performance of The Tempest.
Shakespeare play, yeah.
Yes. And you turn up to support her, and it turns out that the person playing the wizard, whose name Prospero. No, Prospero. Ariel.
Rachel is Prospero.
Yes, that's
cool.
Ariel. The person playing Ariel is not there. She's ill or can't make it, or something's happened. So they're like, well, that's the whole thing ruined. Like, it's a core character. And then Rachel just goes, oh no, it's fine. Chloe will play it. Like, I've not looked at the lines. I haven't done any of that kind of stuff. But she's like, it's fine. You'll do it. It's like, fine. And you go into the dressing room and you put on all the costume, and it's like a very theatre, like an art school costume where it's like a leotard but like a cool headdress.
Sure.
Actually, best headpiece.
No. Been there, done that.
We've done that already.
I don't think it's beating the floppy cart.
And you go in, and it kind of has elements of Wolfenstein in it, where like you see the script and like your lines are highlighted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're probably not going to make me memorize these entire lines, but I took a photo of it on my phone just in case. And then you get in there and you're like, no, they're going to we're going to
make you memorize these lines. Yeah.
And there's a moment, and so you do the play, and like she like very quickly she eventually warms up to the role and actually starts being a little bit more kind of acty about it,
performing.
And then the end speech that Prospero gives, like Rachel gives to Chloe at that point, like goes totally off script and is basically like saying like, hey, I really care about you, we should totally run away, but in Shakespearean language.
Right, okay.
And it's like a really core part of the scene, and it's great because you watch Chloe go like, I don't remember this part of the script. This also, and like the theatre director's off there like with the script going, what the fuck is all of this? And it's a really cool moment of that thing. Actually, it's a really core part. 'Cause the Tempest is actually like, if you want to go super high about it, the Tempest is actually like a kind of a core thing around a lot of the story.
Well, the storm that's the Tempest.
Like,
that's what
I mean. And also that whole scene actually is really good because there's a couple of ways it can play out. But you remember Victoria from the first game?
Which one is she?
The really preppy girl that doesn't like you.
Yes, yeah. The total bitch.
Yes,
but, yeah.
She's in the play as well, or was in the play.
Yeah.
She was going to be in the play. And she's in the dressing room, and you're hiding in the dressing room because you're not meant to be back there yet. You're hiding in the dressing room, and Victoria's like, "Oh, good luck, Rachel. We'll fucking nail this and all this kind of stuff."
Yeah.
Rachel goes to go get something, and Victoria puts something in her tea. You don't know what it is, but you see her pour something into her tea, and you're watching it, and so Victoria leaves. Chloe comes back. Rachel comes back, and you're like, she fucking put something in your tea. And there's a couple of ways this can play out. Like you can either say like, hey, so she comes back and is like, hey, let's drink to whatever this is.
Yeah.
And like you can burst out and go, she fucking drugged you. Or you can say like, no, okay, or you can switch the cups. Or you can say like, you go first. Or like a bunch of things like that. And basically if you get her to drink the drug, there's a thing that Life is Strange is really bad at actually, which is comedic timing.
Sure.
Where like she drinks it kind of apprehensively, and then you're like, we know you put something in the tea, and she basically goes like, I didn't do anything. Thud. Like it sets the deck.
Sure.
And it's a really like that whole scene was actually really, really good. I like that.
Night in the Woods.
Night in the Woods is the epitome of like a small town theatre performance.
It's crap.
It's done in B's or the hardware store that B works in.
Right.
And it tells the story of like the myth of how the town was founded.
And
it's done at Halloween, so everyone's in really shitty costumes.
Sure.
And like May has been dragged in to do a part that she knows from primary school, but never really does it. And like she very quickly is just like, fuck it, we're here, let's do that. And like it's a really cute, well done, well written part of that. And then near which part? Like this
Romeo's and Juliet.
Romeo's and Juliet,
which is hilarious and amazing.
Is that's the one
story
that's
based?
The one with the like fucking
it's robots. So the robots like the game. A lot of the time in the game spent like with watching the robots try and interpret what human society was, which is why you see like the robots fucking and all that sort of stuff. quite obviously these robots have found Shakespeare, but either a broken bit of Shakespeare or like torn up or whatever, and have interpreted Romeo and Juliet to mean there are multiple Romeos and multiple Juliets. So the first scene is the scene someone comes out and does the whole Romeo, wherefore art thou, and then another Juliet comes out and says Romeo, wherefore art thou, and a third Juliet comes out and says, I don't think there's supposed to be this many Juliets.
It's a really good scene.
And then a bunch of the robots start coming out, and they eventually ends with everybody getting really angry at each other for trying to get their Juliet.
Yep.
And the robots just all fight and kill each other.
That's where like one of them says like, "Will you fucketh off?" or something like that.
Well, yeah, they all just start. It breaks down completely and just starts going into Shakespearean language, telling people to fuck off. And I thought it was really hilarious. Like at the moment that I saw, I thought it was really clever and really funny.
It's pretty smart.
Are you gonna watch it?
No, I'm not gonna watch it. I was seeing if somebody had written out the script.
Oh, the script.
But it's super good. Pisseth off.
Pisseth off. That's
Pisseth off.
There's a lot of really good lines in that performance.
There's plenty of it on YouTube. You should watch that scene.
Yeah, definitely. I found it really funny.
Yeah.
So what's the best in-game theater performance?
For me, it's Life is Strange and Nier, and
probably Night in the Woods. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think Wolfenstein is a theater performance.
It's not. It is some actor.
And I think the Life is Strange one is the best.
Fine. That's okay.
Are you okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Like I prefer Nier, but it's only because I haven't played Life is Strange, so I don't really mind.
Not only is a really core scene to the episode, it's also really funny and
that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Very touching as well. So next we have a category I've been looking forward to quite a lot actually, because I think it's going to be very cathartic for the two of you. Crack knuckles,
getting ready,
stretch out a little bit here.
I've got a lot to say about some of these things.
This is the most disappointing game of 2017.
Yeah, it is.
Now we should probably clarify. Disappointing has a very specific connotation, where this is not necessarily worst game.
No,
this is a game that the change from expectation to what happened was such a drop.
Yeah, or like it didn't do something that you expected it to the point where you were
or it was from a very
it.
popular series that didn't quite live up to the expectations.
That's very specific.
So the ones we have on here are Nier Automata.
The internet's gonna hate us.
Nier Automata, Mass Effect Andromeda, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, Destiny 2, The Evil Within 2, and everything about the Switch that isn't the games.
Yes.
Which is a very specific...
That's incredibly specific,
So
I'm
gonna leave the top two for a second because we'll get there.
Okay, sure.
Let's go through the other things just very quickly. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp.
Fuck that game. Fuck Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. I hope it dies in a fire.
So again, not worst game.
No, I know.
But is it disappointing because it's Animal Crossing?
It's disappointing because they could have done an Animal Crossing game.
And they tease it in the first hour. Yeah. Like they
could have. I need to get my head straight with it. Animal Crossing is a game that should work perfectly on mobile.
Yeah.
There is nothing strenuous about Animal Crossing. It's literally all taps and conversations and everything. Like, you need no controller for that.
The one thing missing from Animal Crossing games was a thing that would pop up and say, hey, something's happened. Like a notification system on a phone, for instance.
Like that. Instead, and they spend the first hour making it look like an Animal Crossing game. It sounds like an Animal Crossing game. It looks like an Animal Crossing game. You go talk to people. You pick up stuff from trees. It's all great.
Yeah.
And then it goes downhill where it has none of the heart, none of the soul, none of the charm of an Animal Crossing game. It gets to strictly business of, do you want this person in your camp? Yes, build this thing. What do you need to build this thing? You don't have the materials. Hey, give us some money and you can build it.
Yeah.
Or hurry it up by building it or whatever. Come back 6 hours later, put the thing down, this guy will come to your camp. Now you want this cool penguin in your camp. He won't come unless you've got a guitar and an amp and all this other stuff. That's 20 hours.
Yep.
And all you can do is just walk around and pick stuff up. There's no soul, and that's all Animal Crossing is the charm and the real warmth that you get.
This is a game with KK Slider in it that is not the best game of the year.
I know,
right?
And KK Slider's shit.
Exactly.
He doesn't even play KK Slider songs. He plays 2 cards over and over and over again. Fuck Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Okay. It could have been amazing if they just had a bone version of an Animal Crossing game, which you could easily do, and they didn't. They instead tried to.
They get close, like they have the skeleton. They have the skeleton there.
Yeah, they have the bones there of the idea.
And also, I haven't.
See, if they had done an Animal Crossing game where all of the trees had timers on it, even that would be fine. Like, I would deal with that. Yeah, that's fine. Because you would have the charm, like, you would be able to talk to people and they would have cool things to say, and there would be events, and there'd be things to do, except the trees have timers on them. That's fine. I would be okay with that. Yes. But it's not that. It's the trees have timers on them, the people have personalities, but they don't really show it. They care more about what's in your camp.
Yep.
The naked just they want money out of you thing out of it.
There's something about clinical is the best, like, because
it's cold. It's very cold.
You installed that game, right?
Yeah.
So I've kept it but not touched it for a while, and I am getting notifications now for like, hey, the Christmas.
I know there was but that's the thing.
So I haven't looked at any of those things. Yeah. They're bad, right?
Like, the Christmas event started when I was like, oh cool, that's an Animal Crossing thing. There's a whole separate set of currency for all the Christmas things.
Really?
It's crazy. Yeah.
Fuck.
There's it's like candy canes or something like that. It's nuts.
Yeah.
And it's so bad.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I think you've also. Oh, you've got it there.
Yeah.
I think you've also just reminded my wife that her new phone she'll need to install Animal Crossing, because you're enjoying it. Are you not? Are you done?
I'm done. I did the Christmas stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you could get like the cute parts.
Right. Yeah, you could get cute Christmas outfits and stuff. Yeah.
You could get like the Santa hat and like the Santa outfit.
Yeah.
Although I will point out, the skirt was more expensive than the trousers.
Ah, that's shit.
Fuck this game.
Fuck that game. Right, next.
So you had
extra edition.
More candy canes to get this cute little Santa skirt.
Fuck that game. Right, Destiny 2.
This one I'm surprised to be on this list, but I really enjoyed that time we spent with Destiny 2.
Yep.
After we were done with the story and a lot of that stuff, I have barely touched it.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it's because
we can't.
Yeah, I think it's because we don't have a group.
Yeah.
And
But that's a thing that existed in Destiny 1, and I feel like they should have fixed by Destiny 2.
The thing was, like, I played a shit ton of Destiny 1 on my own.
Oh, okay.
I put like 200 hours into that game on my own. Like, I have not done any of the raids in that thing. Mm-hmm. There's something about Destiny 2 that I'm just like, there's no reason for me to keep going.
Sure, yeah.
Like, the grind is too obvious at this point that I'm just like,
okay, yeah. The loop, the MMO loop.
I'll talk about the Evil Within 2.
Sure.
This is disappointing, and this was a weird one, because disappointing normally is you have anticipation going into a game before you start playing it, and by the end it's not paid off.
Yeah.
Like, I came in with middling anticipation of this game because a lot of people said, like,
you hated Evil Within 1.
I hated the first game. And a lot of people had said, like, no, this one's more of an open world. There's side
there was
stories.
a lot of positive talk about that. Yeah.
They fixed all the technical problems.
Yeah.
And there's an actual story in there that works. And I was like, okay, that's all the things I need. So I bought that game on sale. But I bought that game. And I went into it, and the initial section of that game are really cool.
Yeah.
Where the main antagonist in that thing is...
What's his name again?
Can't remember his name.
The
antagonist.
Not antagonist, not Sebastian Castellanos.
Sebastian Castellanos.
Yeah.
The antagonist in that game is a guy whose name I can't remember, but he's an artist. Right?
Okay.
So we're in the fake world that you believe he has corrupted so that he can make his art, and his art involves him doing things like the security team that was sent to get it. It involves him like doing something to lock out time from like a box and killing someone.
Yeah, it's about freezing them and
and it replays the moment of their death over and over again.
Yeah,
in a way that's like super visceral to watch, and also like is like there's an artistry to all of that game, with no pun intended.
Yeah,
at the start of that thing, which is like they do the weird really super well. Where like you get really like there's elements of like Twin Peaks and like that kind of unsettlingness in there, and the fact that this dude is an artist, like his art is all over the place, and it's a super interesting way to go super weird with that thing. There are a couple of moments where it's like it seems like the overall message of the game is fuck art, but like that was maybe me reading a little bit too much into it.
Yeah.
And I was really enjoying the first couple hours, 3-4. It's like an 8-9 hour game.
Yeah.
First 3 or 4 hours, I was super enjoying it. I wanted to see how he was going to keep his art. Was the interesting part of it for me. Halfway through that game, they kill that character.
Ooh.
You kill him. You have a boss fight with him. Literally halfway through the game, and he dies.
Yep.
And you're like, okay. He does occasionally toward the end talk about like, I'm doing this for him, or like. There's obviously something else higher than
bigger,
him, right? And you're like, okay, I didn't expect to kill him this early, but there's obviously something else going on in here. And then it feels like that game... It feels like they built 2 games and sandwiched them together. Because from that point on, he's never mentioned again. He is out of that story. The art aspect, totally gone. Nothing to do with any of the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And the rest of the game is instead about one of the technicians from the kind of the company, whose name I wish I could remember, has got into STEM and is now like he believes he should control more of it, and he was pretending to take it down, but actually decides he wants to corrupt everything around it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like, and then that's where the point where you discover actually your wife's alive and she's protecting Lily, and like all the interesting parts in the first of the game and all the interesting visual parts of the first game are just gone.
Yeah.
And it feels like they made 2 games, stitched them together. It feels like the first game was the game they were making.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure out how to finish it. So they
threw
scrapped
something else at it.
Built another game, couldn't finish that one. It's like, well, we've got 2 4-hour games here. Let's just duct tape them together. And there's zero through line between the first half and the second half.
That's sad.
It's so disappointing because they could have done something really cool.
Yeah.
And visually, a lot of the stuff in there in the first half is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And none of it is in the second half. Like, literally, after that first bit,
Don't Stick Landing.
you meet the priest that is like the second antagonist.
Yeah.
And his section, very quickly after you kill the first guy, is like a bland dungeon.
Oh.
It's like wood walls, like stone walls and like rusty grates and like fucking shitty Silent Hill.
Generic.
Yeah, like super generic
horror
stuff.
Yeah.
None of the artistry of the first thing. So disappointing.
That's a shame.
The other thing I will say is the moment where I almost switched that game off in the first half. There's an objective where, and again, like the fact that they make the antagonist as an artist plays into a lot of it.
Yeah.
And there's a section where like we need to get this guy because he's threatening Lily, because he believes if he controls Lily, who's in control of the machine, he can create his art forever. There's a section where he won't let you in to get him or get Lily. He's blocked off this whole section because you now have to go and appreciate his art.
Right.
And there's 2 parts of the city where he's like, I've set up art, you need to go and see it so you can understand what's in my mind.
Yeah.
And like really talk. And you go there and there's these 2 paintings in walls, in frames, in like the back of a restaurant somewhere. And the person you're talking to out there is like, he's not well. So the way, and he believes in an artist. So the way to get him is to fuck up his art, and that will fuck up his ego so much that he will break his way out.
Yeah.
Totally sound logic, right?
Yeah.
So you got this fucking first 2 paintings. You got this fucking first painting, and he's standing there going, this must be his art, like this is okay, sure. And he just pulls his knife out and he just says to this painting, I'm gonna stab the shit out of you. It goes to stab the painting and this arm comes out of the painting and pulls him into the painting.
Okay.
But like just the
phrase I'm gonna stab the shit out of you.
I'm going to stab the shit out of you to a painting is it was hilarious and almost made me switch it off.
Christ.
So yeah. But none of this is going to win.
Well, there's like everything about the Switch that isn't the games as well.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So that's just like the fact that
I bought my Switch in November before I went away for a trip. I bought Zelda. I bought Mario.
Yep.
And Mario is great.
Yep.
Zelda is amazing.
Yep.
Everything else about that system, in terms of
account management, save management,
infrastructure, save management. The store's fine, but like
the process you have to go through to buy anything is a joke.
I picked up Splatoon, and like I was like, people are overblowing this app thing. Like, no, you cannot invite friends to a private match through the game. Yeah, you have to use the app.
Yeah,
like holy shit,
it's terrible.
what was it? There was something else as well. There are some things it gets right. Like they have a channel system on the dashboard where every time you install or buy or install a game, you get subscribed to a channel, which is like, here's the news feed for this game.
Yeah.
And your news feed is comprised of all these channels.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in a game that's not out yet, you can subscribe to that channel in advance and get news. Like, that stuff's cool. And it's like, you come to a front page, it's like, oh, cool, there's new stuff happening. But like, as a games
as games console that was released in 2017,
in 2017, to not have built-in voice chat, to still have friend codes, to have an absurd multiplayer system, to have parental controls, by the way, that also require a second app.
Yes.
And I don't care, like, as a man who doesn't have kids, like, I don't care, but the reason why that pisses me off is because all of these other restrictions are to protect children, theoretically.
Also, the actual process of going to buy something on the store is incredibly restrictive because of kids. Yeah. Because I went there to go buy Never Stop Sneaking.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, you want to buy this thing.
Yes.
Add credits. How do you want to add credits? PayPal.
Okay.
Please input your Nintendo password to prove that you're the person that's saying you're buying this. Do it. Okay. Please input your, like, pops up with a thing, PayPal. Please approve this PayPal thing. Code to my email. Tell Nintendo to approve this thing for PayPal.
Oh, subscribe
PayPal payment. PayPal payment goes through. Are you sure you want to buy this? Yes. Please input your password to prove that you're the same person. Input your password. Never ask me to do this again. Bye.
Adding PayPal to that thing was a nightmare.
It's 2017. Just go, cool, you've got PayPal, instead of going, are you over 18? Do you have a PayPal? I don't care.
It's like, I get why the parental controls are there.
Yeah.
But like, don't let me switch everything off.
Yeah. Say, hey, I'm over 20.
And also, like, don't make them bad, and also use it as the excuses why you don't have modern control features. Like, I added a couple of friends from work when I bought Splatoon. Yeah. And I was like, hey,
we can play together.
Right?
No, you can't.
It was incomprehensible how to add people, because like, one, you need to. So I had the dude's friend code.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, where do I put the friend code in? And it's like, you go to your profile, which is in the little thing in the top right. Yeah. You go in there, and then you go like add friends. Like, how do you know them? I'm like, that's a weird question to ask. It's like, okay, I know them via friend code. Yeah. And then you can put the friend code in. I was like, okay, I should add you. Yeah. I don't have your friend code, but I do know you through Animal Crossing. Yeah. So I can pull you in through Animal Crossing. Yeah. And that's now permanent. Yeah. Where it's like, how do you know this person? Through Animal Crossing. No, I don't. I've known him for 20 fucking years.
I was fucking family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's no, this person is now playing Splatoon.
Oh, you don't even know what. Oh.
No, you do know what they're playing, but you have to go into the friends list to know. Like, you can't even say like.
That's an embarrassment.
You know, like on PlayStation, when you're like,
it just tells you.
I want to know what this person's doing, so that, especially if they're playing the game I'm playing, you wanted to come up and say, "Hey, this person's now playing." Whatever.
I mean, it's redundant for me because every time I logged in, you were either playing Yakuza 0 or Kiwami, so I know what you're playing.
They're literally the only two games I now have a PlayStation for. Yeah. But yes.
But yeah, it's embarrassing. Do you know, right? The one thing that disappointed me more than anything, other than the fact that entire thing's an embarrassment, no good Nintendo system music. Mm-hmm. There is no music on the main menu. There's no music in the store. It's all been fantastic for like the Wii, and it was amazing, and the DS and all that stuff. None of that, and there was like.
And it does seem.
But I can set my profile picture as KK Slider, so it's not all that bad.
This doesn't win. I needed to get out like the holy shit.
Do you want to go first?
Yes,
go for it.
Nier Automata was a journey this year.
Yes.
So this started in July-ish when I saw that game come out.
Yes.
And I was like, this looks like balls. This is not a game I'm interested in at all. It's from a series that I half remember.
I played the original Nier.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Huh.
It's fucking terrible.
Okay. So I'd seen the series I kind of half remembered. It's platinum, so it might be alright, but also, like, I don't know anything about the series. Yeah. It looks weird. None of these, like, not on my radar. About a month later, half of the internet says, this is my game of the year.
You should play this game.
You should play this game. It's a game about sad robots.
Yep.
It's a game in the future.
It's a game about humanity.
It plays with, like, gameplay mechanics.
Expectations.
Every single part of this is written for me, right? So I was like, right, fine. $24.99, it was on sale.
Yeah.
Fucking get this game. Installed it, booted it up, crashed. Point one.
Good start. The fact that you have to patch the PC version to make it work. Yeah.
Oh, so this PC version.
Yeah.
Got that working. Runs reasonably well.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Let it go.
So, Route A,
yes.
which is 6 hours of my life.
Yep.
Ish. The first time through.
Yeah.
Was fine.
It was nothing special.
Was
I agree. I've done Route
special.
A. It was nothing special. This was supposed to be your introduction to the game to get you introduced to the characters in the world and stuff like that. It kind of does it.
There was stuff
I ended Route A going, oh, okay, I can kind of see where they're going. Didn't care about any of the characters. Like, fuck 2B and 9S. I thought they were shit.
Terrible characters. I thought that game was fine. I thought the combat system was bad.
It is bad, yeah.
As a platinum game, as a character action game.
I can tell you, as a diehard fan of character action games shit. It's bad.
And I was like, this is fine. But I'd known at that point by osmosis
Word of mouth.
that there's more to that game than just Route A. And I was like, right, okay, fine. Finished Route A, saw credits, immediately said,
Route B.
Continue. That first scene with the robot
controlling the robot
with the bucket in his head saving his brother, I was like, okay, we're getting into it now.
There's something here.
Here. Right, okay, I'm looking forward to this. They do that thing.
Yep.
And then it cuts to 9S, and it's like...
And you do the shooter thing again.
I'm like, okay, this is the same as the last one, but it's a different perspective, and like, this bit's actually cooler than the 2B bit, and that's fine. And then it was like, it was the same stuff from a different perspective.
So I'll say now, I played Route A, did the robot bucket thing, did the shooting thing, it dropped me, made me go to the resistance camp.
Yep.
And then said, go check out the amusement park. And I went, fuck that, I'm not doing this again. It stopped. That's where I stopped.
So, they didn't explain it to me. I didn't understand the hacking mechanic in 9S till halfway through Route B.
Oh.
So,
okay.
That combat just got worse as far as I was concerned. I finished Route B, and they do the thing for like, here's what's happening next time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, shit's gonna pop off.
Yeah, that's when like the war starts, when Yorha comes down.
And we've done everything they can possibly do. Like, as soon as I saw it, it was like, this is how they're gonna do B. Fine. C is when this is gonna really kick off. And I'm 12 hours into this game, so fucking it better do something.
Yeah.
And you start that second Route C.
Yeah. And
it drops you back, like, there's resolution to some stuff. You get a new costume, it drops you back in the earth and said, go do these 5 combat scenarios around the world.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've just got a new cool suit. Like, you're really just going to make me... And you just go and fight 5 things. And it's like, okay. And then, there's all the A2 stuff, which it then splits off, and she's an even worse character somehow. And then 9S just becomes more and more angry.
Yeah.
And then... Oh, actually, sorry. The fucking core thing. The end of Route B, or near the end of Route B when you're controlling 9S.
Yeah.
The main, big, huge story turn in that game.
Yeah.
The big reveal.
Yes.
Where the humans do not exist.
Yeah, the humans
anymore.
are all dead.
The whole thing is fake. We're making these androids just continue on because we don't know what to do with them yet.
Yeah.
That whole thing is a text dump. It's not cutscene. It's not...
Is there not a thing with the head of Yorha? Does she not...
Later.
Oh. I thought the whole point was like she gives you a disc or something.
Yeah, and you read it.
Ah, okay.
And you read it and they come back and go, cool, now you understand that bit. Let's move on to this bullshit. Oh. And it's just like, this is the turn.
Yeah.
This is the big part of the game
where
you should
that's
be
a
like,
big reveal.
holy shit.
Yeah.
And it was a cool reveal, but I didn't read that text.
Yeah.
Like, I read half of it and went, oh, it's a text, like, fuck.
Yeah.
I've read, also, up to that point, I've read about 7 text logs very quickly, one after the other.
Yeah.
So, fuck this one, I'm going to move on. And then I finished Route B, and I was like, okay, I'm probably going to have to play C. I did a quick Google, and a lot of the forum players were like, holy shit, that reveal in B. I'm like, what reveal? And then you go back and went, wait, what?
It was in that?
It was in that thing? That was it? And then you do C, everyone gets worse.
Yeah.
9S gets more depressed and angry. He has to conquer 3 very similar towers.
Yeah.
A2 fucks off to the desert and fucks about out there for a while.
Yeah.
And then they come together and do this shitty fight.
Yeah.
And
that's your DE split.
And that's your DE split.
Or your CE split. CD split, yeah.
And then E resolves and it deletes your save. And I'm like... And I did the whole... And by halfway through... By 3/4 of the way through A, I was done with the side stuff. Because all of it was, go get this thing, go kill these 5 people, go get this thing. Like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I'm here for the main story that everyone is fucking raving about in this
Yeah.
thing. I mainlined all the story in that thing.
Yep.
I realized the combat was either so shit, or I haven't leveled or learned, or it hasn't taught me how the combat works.
It hasn't taught you.
Instead, I'm going to go buy 99 large health potions
There you
and
go.
brute force my way through the combat.
You can either brute force it or chip, like change your chip. You can.
You can't chip. No, there's not a chip thing. There's not a chip set up in the world.
Is there not? Okay, I thought there would be, but okay.
My entire chip layout was for me to get more health all the time.
I thought that was the chip.
Doesn't work.
Does it not?
Help.
Okay.
You still need to brute force. Your
Also,
way.
I'll throw in a point here of adding corpse running from Dark Souls to that game is fucking bananas. There was no reason for you to be able to do that, because I died at some point in the factory with my good chipset.
Yeah.
Died again, it was gone.
Yep.
I was like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? But yeah.
So I'm done with side stuff.
Yeah. So you just
I
mainlined
the game and was like, that was bad. Like, one, you had your big turn, and also none of this resolution is particularly good.
Yeah.
And then once I was done, and I deleted my save, and I deleted the game.
Yeah.
I was like, we're over. I then, at that point, went and started reading all the shit that I hadn't been able to read up to that point. I listened to spoilercasts, I read articles, all this thing, praising the delicate storytelling and the, like, nuance, like, the appreciation of the robots reading cultures and all of this kind of stuff. All of which was in side stuff. All of which the gameplay was bad.
Yeah.
Like, the core of this thing, the reason why it's disappointing is that this was the moment in video games where I realized that a story is not enough. Mm-hmm. Like, this could be the best written thing ever, and if you have to...
If you can't interact with it...
I still have to be able to consume the story.
Yeah.
And if the main thing you're putting in the way of me consuming that story is abysmal...
Yeah.
And looks bad...
Yep.
And I don't care about the characters...
Yeah.
I don't care about your story.
I agree, yeah.
And they fucked it royally. Like, it is a bad playing game, and it creates so many artificial barriers for you consuming what is ostensibly the best part of that game.
Yeah.
Especially when you write all of the best stuff for side things that if you're not up for some fetch quests, you're not going to see.
Yeah, you're not going to see it, yeah.
And also, every interpretation of that game I've read so far, or seen so far, seems to excuse a lot of the core facets of that game.
Yeah.
And really seem like they're reading a lot. Like, it's there, and I see the interpretation.
Yeah. I
just don't get how you get that much out of it. Like, the fact that people were talking about how, like again, the main reveal of, like, the humans aren't there.
Yeah.
That changes that entire game.
Yes.
About why they're here, what they're doing, how all these robots are interacting with each other, and there's all these different clans of robots, and how they're all, like, have different approaches to, like, they pull different parts of human life. Like, I get a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
And they haven't made me care about any of it.
No, they're really bad at making you care
and, like,
about it.
Pascal, who is the one saving character.
He's the thing that I thought would have been cool.
And they don't do anything with it. Like,
does he not go through an arc? Like, his arc actually sounded
kind
really
of,
cool.
But also, like...
Do they not, like, torch his village and he gets really mad about it or something?
Like, the one pseudo-emotional moment
Yeah.
still involves me caring about a lot of the characters involved.
Okay. Right,
But like the one saving moment is in the Route C, where there's a full-on attack on the factory.
Yeah.
From those Guardian robots from the first
Yeah.
section.
It's where the Become as Gods thing happens. Yeah.
There's a full-on attack there, and you go out and you fight off a whole bunch of dudes, and then more of the robot, like you kill one of the giant robots again,
Yeah.
4 of them appear, and you're like, we're fucked. Like, this is all dead. And then Pascal goes, fuck this shit, hacks one of the robots, you control the robot, and it turns into a side-on fighting game where you punch these robots in the face over and over again. At which point, once all that's resolved, you then go back into the factory to go move, because all the people from the forest have moved into the factory to keep them safe.
Yeah.
The forest has been burnt.
Yeah.
You move back into the factory to go say, okay guys, we're fine.
Yeah.
Everyone in the factory, all the people from the thing who are still alive from the forest, have killed themselves.
Yes.
Because Pascal taught them about how important it is to have fear and empathy.
Yeah.
And fear got the better of them, and they all
suicided,
all fucked. And that was the one bit where that story kind of coalesced.
Yeah, all
they
clicks.
wanted,
Yeah.
but also like that was it. And
Yeah.
then it moved on because it was A2 controlling them at that point, and I don't give a fuck. No, sorry. Yes, A2. And I don't give a fuck about anything she's involved in. Because she didn't care a fuck about anything.
Sure.
It's just, I don't get, like...
Yeah, I'm there.
I
don't understand.
That game. And going from... And the reason why this isn't disappointing is because this was people's game of the year.
Yes.
And is everything I look for in video games.
Yeah.
And it was bad.
Yeah.
And I spent 24 hours with that game.
Yeah.
I think in total.
Yeah.
And got nothing out of it.
Yeah.
Like, it did not reward me for any of that time. And it made me so angry.
I know.
I went on a journey from, this game is not for me, to, this game is bad, to again, back to this game is not for me, to going, no, this game is actually genuinely poorly constructed as a game.
Yes.
It's
a bad game.
And the consequence of that is I will be there day one for whatever Yoko Taro does next. Because I feel like if he does it again, he might get it right. This game is...
So far, right, I would agree with you if so far the games that I've played from Yoko Taro haven't both been shit. They're both shit.
Yoko Taro is what Kojima would be if he didn't have a budget.
Yes.
Like, Taro has Kojima-like scope and ideas, and not a budget.
He wants to say some big things with video games,
and this is not it.
Nope.
At all.
Nope. I agree.
However, this is not going to win this category because Mass Effect Andromeda is on this list.
I want you to look me in the eyes as I say this, and I want everybody at home to do this right. This game is a pile of dog shit, and it killed the Mass Effect series probably for like 20 years. That game's not going to come back. Mm-hmm. Nothing else is more disappointing than a game that single-handedly killed the Mass Effect series.
There was a new Mass Effect game this year, and I didn't buy it.
Yes.
Because you took that bullet.
I took that bullet for 36 hours. I took that bullet. Over and over and over and over again, I took that bullet. Because it was Mass Effect. And, God, that game... fuck. It's an embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment, is that game. That they would put the Mass Effect name on something that poorly built and poorly thought out and poorly written.
Like, it's the trifecta, right? Like, not only is it a bad narrative for a Mass Effect game, it's also technically terrible.
Yes.
Like, from a pure technical construction perspective.
They'll go through the trifecta. The narrative is bad. Not just for a Mass Effect game. The narrative is bad. Because it's the most bland story of nepotism you've ever seen in the sci-fi universe. Which you can't do for a Mass Effect game. One of the best trilogies of games ever made because of their story.
Yep.
Terrible, terrible narrative, and I'll get back to the nuances of why. Technically, shooting's fine. Nothing special. It's okay. Everything else technically about it, crap. Like, it was buggy as shit. It looked not great. The facial animations were terrible.
They patched the graphics of that game.
Yes, they patched specifically the graphics.
Faces of that game.
And even then, they still didn't look good. And there were still embarrassing things like the thing that everybody will come back to, but there's a reason for that because it's terrible. Where the first thing you meet PB, and she pulls a gun to shoot a guy behind you, and if you slow the animation down, she pulls the gun and the gun's backwards, is a thing that people knew from trailers from months and months and months and months before that game came out, and they didn't fix it for release. So technically that game was a mess. Narratively that game was a mess, and even like they just put they put not the wrong people, but the team that they got to make it, I assume did the best they could because everybody always does the best they can.
Building building games is hard.
Yes, building games is very hard
at that scale, at that kind of studio level.
And they got hurried to the finish, and then got pointed at when it didn't sell well.
That game came out early April, right?
Yeah.
Like the death knell for games, which is like this needs to be out this
year,
this quarter,
and got pointed at for going like, and then suddenly became the poster child of this is why single player games don't work, and you're like, what? That's not the reason that single player games don't work. That game doesn't work because you made a bad game, not because that's a single player game.
Yeah.
And so go through the Mass Effect thing of your companions are bad for a start. Let's go with that.
Is there not one? Like,
There's one, maybe. Okay. The guy I can't remember the name of, who's like the weird fish thing.
Yes, that's the guy I was thinking of.
Pretty okay.
Okay.
He's fine, and he has a couple of good scenes that are all okay. Rest are all bland.
The dialogue's terrible.
Yes, dialogue is bad. To where, I talked about this on the show, but I'm going to say it again because it's that bad. And the opening mission to that game, there's a bit where you're on a point defense on a platform with Quora and Liam, the two humans, and you're fighting off, and I was doing my thing and shooting people with shotguns, and Liam said the phrase, I don't think he liked that one, talking about the alien. I don't think he liked that one. I was like, that's cheesy, but whatever. And it was, I don't think he liked that one, beat, because I shot him in the face. I was like, this is a Mass Effect game, and that's how you write your characters. It was terrible. It was terrible, and the ambient dialogue as you're going in your Mako thing that I can't remember, the Tempest or whatever it's called, the buggy, is bad. It's the sort of like, if you kids don't stop arguing, I'll turn this bike around, that style thing. Like, none of it's good. And your characters barely interact with each other, and when they do, it's an embarrassment. Like, there are like 2 good scenes that I can think of. Like, the movie night scene's pretty good, and the scene where Liam and the fish dude compare armor is pretty good.
Okay.
Rest's all terrible. The story, oh god, the story conceits of like, we want to send the races out on these arcs to try and find new worlds. So we've got the human arc, the Turian arc, the Asari arc, the Solarian arc, and then everyone else gets their other arc. What happened to everyone else's arc? Oh, they got stuck. Yep. So you don't get to see any of these aliens. You just get the usual, like the Turians, the Asari, and all that sort of stuff. Which, why would you build a Mass Effect game where you can't interact with all the aliens, and the new aliens that you make are crap?
There's one new species,
2.
Right? 2 new species.
I don't blame you for thinking there's one, because they're basically the same. There's the angry rock people and the fish people, who are so generic that they might as well not exist.
Okay.
The angry rock people, who are there because they have a big evil leader who's evil and wants to do evil things in the evil world to good people. And the fish people, who are a race of 2 gender focused, completely normal society of, we have classes, we have work, we have education, we have everything. Nothing's different about them. They might as well be human, but they're just fish people. Nothing's changed. It's the most boring thing on the planet. They have the whole slight Eastern mythology of, no, we care about like honor and like like doing things for the good of others, but that's not like a new concept. That's like very old. That's not a new. And oh Christ, and they wave a lot of the like cool like science exploration stuff off on your AI, like your SAM AI, where they could have done a really cool thing where you meet this completely foreign alien race, the rock people, at first, and they start talking to you and you don't understand them. And I thought they were going to do a thing of like, oh, we might need to like learn a language and have language barriers and stuff like that. And your AI just goes, analyzing vocal patterns. Okay, language understood, and you understand them from here on out. There's zero nuance whatsoever. Your AI just solves everything for you.
Like, it always seemed like Mass Effect was more Star Trek than Star Wars. Like, it's about space politics.
Yeah.
Right? It's about how you manipulate these races. It's about how you interact with all these races, how you manipulate the relationships between those races.
Yep.
To save the world.
Yeah,
right?
it's about getting on because of a common goal. Like, that's
and
a lot
accepting
of
your differences and working with your differences and all that kind of stuff. And there's just none of that.
Nope. None of that whatsoever. There are funny moments. There are moments that maybe that's also why it's so disappointing, because I can see the sparks of there's a Mass Effect game in there somewhere that gets marred and all that shit. Like your Turian crewmate, who's a woman called Vetra. If you have a romantic relationship with her, she does a thing at the very end where she wants to do something romantic for you. So she spends a lot of time finding real human steak, like cow meat. Okay. And spends a lot of time cooking it. Okay. And makes a big deal about, like, I spent a lot of money and a lot of time cooking this steak because I want to make this for you because I love you. Yeah. And produce it in front of you and it's black. It's like charred and you have to go through the whole thing of going like, oh, it's delicious. And that's really good. Like, that's the thing that you can do.
That's a Mass Effect moment.
That's a Mass Effect moment because it's aliens understanding culture and all that. And then it just gets marred in all the other crap that's in that game. And you get to dumb story beats where your father dies, so you become the Pathfinder, and your mother's been like, you don't know where your mother is forever, and then they just find her randomly in a pod. Like, there's a whole
ship?
Yeah. Like, you can go to her pod and look at her, and be like, look, she's there. Can you bring her out of stasis? No, like, she's just there. And you're, oh man, that game.
Would this game be? I mean, it'd obviously be less disappointing, but would this game be any better if it didn't have the Mass Effect name on it? Like, if this was...
Provided that if you took the Mass Effect name off of it, you redesigned every alien race and made it as, like, a new thing.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, maybe work.
Because it would then be them going, like, these guys have seen Mass Effect before, but, like, it would be like the Technomancer, right? It would be...
It'd be like a B sci-fi movie, yeah.
A B grade...
Yeah.
Ape of...
I would actually probably be more impressed by it, because then it would be them trying to do like an original world with like new aliens that do different things and stuff like that. Whereas in this, there are like beats of tiny bits of alien culture, and then the rest is all generic and marked together. And yes, that game.
And like the thing that always caps this off for me is like the Mass Effect franchise is now dead. Like,
yep.
They're not even doing any more story content for Andromeda.
No, that's why like the arc that has all the other aliens on it and your mum being in the pod and all that sort of stuff was all probably going to be DLC stuff, because they showed it like they were going to be like, there's a thing here that you can see tangibly leading to DLC that you're not going to get anymore. And at board meetings and stuff like that, people are now going to point to this game and be like, this is why we can't make a Mass Effect game because this didn't sell well, or this is why we can't make a single player RPG anymore because this didn't sell. And you're like, that's not the reason. And yeah, so the fact that this thing murdered probably one of the best series of games ever is probably why it's the most disappointing game of this year.
I can't have an argument that would beat that.
They killed Mass Effect. Mass Effect is dead now.
Yeah.
For at least 5 or 10 years.
So, I mean, it's Mass Effect Near.
Yeah.
Is Animal Crossing the third?
Yes.
Because the other...
Personally, yes.
Because, like, yeah, like, in terms of...
Because, right, here's my argument. Destiny had some good points.
Yes, for sure.
Everything about the Switch, yes, it's an embarrassment. Well, that would be the only thing that could compete with Animal Crossing, actually. Even within 2, you enjoyed for the first 4 hours.
But I think, like, I
guess that doesn't help with your come down, but...
Yeah, it was more the fact that, like, I came from, like... That game led me on, and then...
Yeah, and then whipped it out from under you, yeah.
Whereas Pocket Camp was like, there's a mobile Animal Crossing game coming.
Yeah.
And you don't have it installed on your phone.
I know.
Like,
I don't have it installed on my phone.
That's got to be the third.
And it's
sexist.
And it's sexist.
And it's sexist.
All the other reasons and the other things that we said already.
Not only is it sexist, it's sexist at Christmas.
It's sexist at Christmas. That's very bad. Boo on you, Animal Crossing.
So Andromeda wins, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just needed to say it out loud so I could.
Mass Effect Andromeda is the most disappointing game of possibly the most like last 5 years or something like that.
I mean,
the only game that competes with it in my mind is Bravely Default.
What's that? That game's good, right?
Right. Let me tell you about
No.
So see, imagine playing a JRPG, right?
No, I'm not having this. No, not again. So the most disappointing game of 2017 is Mass Effect Andromeda.
Fuck yeah, it is.
With Nier Automata and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp as the third.
Yep.
Man, yeah, that's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
But we get to go into the good stuff now.
Yep.